Hello ladies, gentlemen, and those that don't identify themselves in that binary. I'm the Ski, and welcome to my Pokémon Shield Nuzlocke. So now we head out to Route 6, crossing this bridge, and we come across Team Yell looking at a Silicobra that they believe is cute and has adorable eyes and needs to rest. And as long as people are quiet, they'll let them through, but not us, because we're Pokémon gym challengers, and they're going to hold us back, primarily to support Marnie really, but they claim it's to make sure the Silicobra is safe and can sleep. But Hop comes along and we decide that we will take out these Team Yell grunts. So I had Korax, the Team Yell grunt had a Stunky, and again another thing I like about the game, I probably said it before, but it's the fact that when you come up against opposition, they tend to be the same level as you, which they weren't in previous games. Things would usually be a much lower level, except for when you came up to the gym battles, so I rather liked that. The Stunky had Aftermath, which led to Korax getting quite hurt, but Korax levels up. It's pretty good, but we don't want to poisoned and hurt Korax, so swapping out seemed the thing to do. So put Rupert in, because Rupert is resistant to most of the things Lanoon is going to do. And the Loon homed Claws. We looked at what we've got, and Strength is a stab move for Rupert, and Rupert went with hitting it. So, bam! More than half. And the Loon had a third home Claws. If it had struck us, it could have done some real damage to Rupert, but Rupert's strong enough to just take the Lanoon out entirely. So, Rupert becomes level 30, which is great. Think about learning Flail, which is a powerful move, but works best when you've got low hit points, and I really don't like having low hit points. As it turns out, Hop wasn't fighting the other one, so lets us carry on to fight the Liepard. Korax is at the front of the party and needs to move out of the way. We don't want the poison killing our starter. So we put in Rupert, our new most powerful Pokemon. Takes a tiny amount of damage from the Assurance, and Strength is used to do a bit of damage, which in fact takes out the Liepard in one go. That deals with both Team Yell grunts, and we're able to talk to Hop a bit more after they've been defeated. So Hop tells us that Bede just beat him up last time, because we saw them go off to battle. Bede told us that he'd won, but Hop now is pretty downcast and he's going to have to work out a new way of going. We then watch the Silicobra move off, before we rush back to the Pokémon Center, having spoken to Opal, who is a gym leader later on. We went back to the Pokémon Center, ready to progress along Route 6. So after healing up, ran down the route, and the first person we come across is a Beauty Anita, who wants to battle. So Korax out first. Gonna see what's happening, because this area looks like an area full of ground and electric types, which is the perfect thing for a flying type to have. But what we have is a Clefairy who's using Metronome. Always a scary thing when you go up against it in competitive, because you don't know what's coming out of it. But not so much of a problem here. And then a Clefable comes out. We go for a Pluck again. Does somewhere between a quarter and a third damage. Thankfully, its first move is Coil, which means its defense goes up, so it's going to take a bit longer to take it out, but that's not too much of a problem. Metronome again leads to Petal Blizzard, which not very effective, but effective enough. And finally, comes in with Fire Spin, which thankfully doesn't do too much damage to us. If Korax had evolved into a Corviknight, it really would. Floral Healing, which was not expecting to work on us, but yes, the Floral Healing from the Metronome healed us up before the Fire Spin hurt us. And then finally Pluck again, takes out the Clefable, and the battle was done, getting us another level up for Mrs. Snowy. So pushing on, we can capture our first Pokemon on the route, the only Pokemon we can capture, but the first one we run into. So I ran around in circles until I accidentally fell down that ledge there. So I ran up into this patch of grass and started running in circles again. Took quite a while, but eventually I ran into a Galarian variant Yamask. Or Yamask. So this is a Ghost and Ground type Pokemon, which that will definitely fit into our team. We don't have that combination. In fact, we don't have a Ghost type at all, or I believe a Ground type. So I thought this was the right Pokemon to have for the party. Maybe not the party immediately, but definitely to slot into the party. So started with some moves that should do a bit of damage. Also, it's got Wandering Spirit as its ability. It's very much like Mummy on the old Cofragragus, in that Wandering Spirit swaps your ability with the opponent's, so it's quite useful to be able to sort of gain different powers, so you can use it later on. It's rather good. I managed to do quite a bit of damage to the Yamask, and as it wasn't doing too much damage to Korax, felt like the right time to throw something to capture it. So I looked through the different Pokeballs that I had. None were particularly suited to capturing it, so I went with the Ultra Ball because it had the best chance of what I had. And 1, 2, 3 bounces. Yamask was captured. I'm going to change from Yamask and Yamask all the way through. It's going to be very annoying. I apologise. Still, you can see no level up from the catch, but brings something new and interesting to the dynamic that we might use going forward. Data gets added to the Pokédex. Formed when a clay tablet is drawn to a vengeful spirit. It's always nice to have a vengeful spirit on side, especially one that's, dead but got arms. So I had to work out what I was going to call it. And as it's a mask, I called it Smokin', after the catchphrase of the mask character that I watched a lot of the cartoon of when I grow up. So after that, I moved into the route and came across these two people, both doctors, who are going to give us a double battle. It's a nice combination from them, a Togetic and a Pawniard. Up front I have Korax and Bellerophon, so going for the Togetic first because it looks like it'll do the most damage. So hit it with a nice rock type attack and payback, which should have taken it out but didn't, which is quite upsetting. So that's Ancient Power into Bellerophon, and we see quite a bit of the interplay coming in of the double battle, but decided that it was time to just go straight for Togetic first, get the bite in, take it out so we can't take any damage from it, especially now its attack's gone up, and then use Pluck on the Pawniard and see that it's actually a remarkably resilient Pokemon against us. Bellerophon using its leftovers to just keep itself in the fight. Again, tried Rock Tomb, did a bit more damage but not a lot. Unfortunately, the Defiant ability made the Pawniard attack much stronger, and the Metal Sound, thankfully, not doing any damage, but reducing our special defense. This time I decided to swap out the Barkley, because Barkley's fire attacks should do a bit of damage, and just do as much damage to it as we can. Intimidate, hopefully helping us, but of course the Defiant, which I'd not considered despite seeing it straight beforehand, increases its attack. Thankfully it didn't actually attack. Finally, a Fire Fang and a Rock Tomb onto the Pawniard should have taken it out, and did. So Barkley didn't do much other than make the Pawniard stronger, but that didn't help it in long term. That defeated this double battle, and we were able to move on along the route. So I wandered along the route and then came across this hiker. Backpacker Ruth. And you can tell, because I haven't sped up the footage, that this is quite an important fight. So I threw out Rupert to begin with. I had Rupert leading the party. Did a bit of grinding on the way up, fighting the Pokemon that we were super effective against. You'll see that Korax's Pluck has only 4 PP left. So you can see what I've just been moving up so that we'd be ready for the gym when we got there. So Throw used Storm Throw, which not very effective, but did a fair bit of damage, and I was able to just throw Pluck back out against it. Decent amount of damage. I thought, I've got this, we can do that. But Throw uses Revenge, which does, again, quite a bit to Korax, and I thought, at this point, time to swap out. Try Molder. Molder is Bug type, but a Psychic type, so should resist most of the damage that comes in. Throw has Circle Throw. Of course it does. So by swapping in Molder, all that happens is it gets swapped out again, and out comes Mrs. Snowy. I think fine, should be able to deal with this. Go with Double Team to make ourselves harder to hit. We're faster, so that's, always a bonus. And Throw uses Circle Throw. Mrs. Snowy avoids it. Wonderful, let's stay in the fight. Icy Wind, get some damage going. Hit the weaker special defense of Throw. Doesn't do a lot. Circle Throw comes in, and Mrs. Snowy is taken out in a single hit. Mrs. Snowy, who's been with us not in the gyms, but with the gym challenges since we first went through the wild area. For 3 gym badges, Mrs. Snowy has always been an option, and now she's gone. So Mulder came out, used Confusion, didn't take out the Throw, but a Storm Throw in response doesn't do much damage to Mulder. Mulder has high defences as well. That was a critical hit, it still did nothing. So the second Confusion we used to take out the Throw at the cost of Mrs. Snowy, who I was hoping we'd be able to turn into a Frostlass later on. Always painful to lose a Pokemon in Nuzlocke, especially one that you've been sort of nurturing along in the background but hadn't got a chance to properly use. But yes, went into the party, released Mrs. Snowy, and decided which Pokemon I wanted to add going forwards. And the choice I went with was the Rock. At this point, I'd like to thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. If you do, please like and subscribe, and as always, have a lovely day.